Daniel.
Daniel, KC, Special K, how you doing? Kai,
All right, let's see. Come on
awesome.
now. And away we go. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. It is Sunday, October 6th, and it is time for the Imaginators. And we're so
Nice.
glad to have you with us. And I got to say, you guys are doing a fantabulous job at promoting the Robert Hollis channel because we are now up to 9,888 subscribers. I
Wow.
have a feeling that before the end of the month, we're going to hit the 10,000 mark and then even more.
We'll
And
do
with
that
your
mid-month.
help,
We'll do that mid-month.
probably, I would say, we've increased 2,318 people in the last 28 days.
Wow.
So I got a feeling that, yeah, probably by the end of next week, we should be over that 10,000 that 10,000 subscriber mark. And got to give a shout out to whoever Unbounded Thrills is and are, was, were. I don't see them here, but that's who registered recently as an Imaginator.
Oh,
So they
Nice.
welcome.
subscribed. So whoever Unbounded Thrills is, welcome. We are so glad to have you on board with us. If you're watching us on Zoom and you want to join us, on YouTube and you want to join us in the Zoom because that's where a lot of the action takes place, go ahead and click on the link in the chat above or, no, or that's really it because
Yeah.
otherwise you are here with us in Zoom and we appreciate you and we're glad to have you on board. If you want to join us, now Robert and Terry will have a couple of words before we get to where you get to interact with Robert. Very simple thing to do. Put your cursor on the middle of the screen where you see my face. On the bottom, there'll be a bunch of buttons. Now, this is if you're watching in Zoom. Click on the raise hand button and we will call on you in the order in which we receive your request. You can also type your question in the chats, either in YouTube or in Zoom, and we will ask them on your behalf. But the whole point of this is getting together and chatting with not only each other and imaginate, but also to chat with Robert as he is a unique individual in our GPS to success, our mentor. And if I may be so bold to say and copy a famous cartoon character, fearless leader. For those of you who know Rocky and Bullwinkle, you'll know where that came from. So, without further ado, let's get started with Terry and Robert Hollis.
Well, thank you very, very, very much. I see some other people on here, jumped on here. Lucas and also Peter from Ireland. Thanks for jumping on here. Chris, I don't know if I shouted out your name, but nice to see the Imaginators again. It was almost a week since I've been here. And I posted something in the group if you didn't see it, and I just thought I'd share it really quick and just say a few statements about that. But logic will get you from A to B. A to B. Imagination will get you everywhere. Again, some incredible statements. If you just put in Google and put in most great quotes about imagination, they're just endless. They're just totally, totally endless. And that's one of the things I wanted to just make a quick statement with is there some pretty miraculous things that are happening for me, no, happening to me, right? And it's my ability just to consistently just step further into imagination, focus on that, million active subscribers and focus on the 10,000 active traders that I'll have. And it's pretty interesting where you hear this word, that people are coming out of the woodworks, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people, including, it's pretty interesting that KC jumped on here because Casey and I know each other. Special K, he goes by, and we know each other very, very, very well. But if you guys heard the way he came to me, back to me was really simple. Is a person that we both know very, very well. Casey knows her way better than I do. She's just one of those people that's seen a post I did on Facebook And then she goes out of her way to tell KC that he needs to work with me. All right. So now here's the funny thing, KC. Rosanna she's really not even focused on MDC and Akashic, is she?
No. No.
So how many of you guys can even think of that? And the reason that I wanted to bring this up is I didn't know that KC was going to be on here. But KC asked me some similar questions about, hey, listen, I want to go from 15 personals to a million. I think he said a lower number than a million, but that's what I overheard. And a lot of people are reaching out to me and constantly asking me, Robert, listen, how do I do that? And I want to just tell you guys again, when it deals with imagination, it's not only getting clicked into that imagination and really focusing on how it's going to feel to actually change and alter other people's lives, right? But now with imagination, David reached out to me, Oliver, and he was like, Robert, I all of a sudden have a bunch of people that reached out to me. I did what you told me to do. I grabbed your 4-minute video and I put it on TikTok. And now I got people that are using your TikTok video you're using your video on their own TikTok channel. What should I do about that? What should I say to these people? And I'm going, when you're dealing with imagination, why are you asking me what you should say to people? Shouldn't you be asking imagination what you should say to these people? Hey, you know what I'm trying to do? I have an emotional excitement, enthusiasm about it while I'm thinking about my imagination. I spend minutes a day, numerous times a day, getting into that emotional state. Now you're bringing me people, and I want to know what I should say to them. Why not just ask the imagination? What do I say to this person? What's their hot spot? How should I say anything? What if you were brutally honest? See, again, logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will get you everywhere. So wouldn't it be wild if you reached out to someone and said something like this? Hey, Casey, thanks a lot for reaching out to me. I've recently been imagining how many people I could help with what I'm doing. And I just want to tell you that. I just want you to understand that I get a lot of fulfillment and enjoyment and love and everything by helping others. And now I'm connected with you. So what could I say or do to see if you're interested enough to get enough information where you could actually refer me to people? Because if imagination connected us, I don't want to guess or make a mistake by saying something to you that might, turn you off or get you to go a different direction or ignore me. So why don't you just tell me what I should say? Now, how many of you are tripping a little bit? Because every time I'm on stage, I say something different. Every time I'm on stage, I say something different because I actually ask to connect with the audience and I want to be there for them. What do they need to hear? So I can't tell you how many times, this endless amount of time, where I had a logical thought of what I could share with a group. Are you guys hearing me? I had a logical thinking of what I could share with people. And then I get out in front of people and I don't cover that at all. Have any one of you been tapped into your imagination and keep stretching your imagination? Because a part of Imaginators is for you guys to see the fulfillment of your imagination. And I just want to know how many of you are seeing evidence of everyday miracles of your imagination coming truer and truer every single day. Are you seeing it? Or do you start to feel it and then your logic takes back over? Your thinking mind takes back over. That would make all of us human, wouldn't it? Give you another example. I didn't expect KC to come on here, but KC reaches out to me too in the midst of saying that I want to, have a lot more personals. And then KC says to me, hey, I was thinking about putting together a template, or do you have a graphic so I can recognize brand new people getting involved? And I was going, that doesn't sound duplicatable. Well, it's funny. I got to be brutally honest. Casey wrote this nice little paragraph of that, whatever, da 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 da. And I know that the imagination or the spirit hit him, and he comes back, and there's just one line: or would you not do this at all? So I want you guys to know that the second sentence that KC said was also KC. It was just a different voice. One voice was saying, hey, wouldn't this be neat? I've seen this done in the past. I've seen other people do this. This would be a nice, people get in, so we could, do that. I've seen other people do that. I don't know if it's successful. And then Casey had the other voice going, no. So then it was easy for me to answer, because I was thinking, what is a nice way that I could respond to this? And so as I was recording, the sentence came in, or shouldn't I not do this? And I was like, correct. So, what I was saying to you guys too about David Oliver reaching out to me saying, what would I say to these TikTok people? Do you guys think that you could actually get into a place mentally? I know you can, where your first thought, even though it shouldn't be a thought, but your first thought is, why don't I just ask the master creator? Everyone's unique. Everyone's different. And it just hit me right now. Cool download. Wouldn't it be awesome? Wouldn't it be awesome if I just reached out to people and said, hey, Chris, I'm connecting with you because I have a pretty out there imagination, and I'm trying to make some things happen, and I'd like to know what you're imagining right now. Wow. What do you mean? Yeah, that was not the right answer. It'll take you a couple of seconds to go over to AI or Google and put in what is imagination. You know what I mean? And then when you figure out what that is, you can tell me, are you just looking for status quo? And I seen a really cool video this morning while I was meditating on this and connecting. And it was, there's only two groups of people on the planet. And sometimes we go back and forth between the two. It's a person that is not happy with status quo. They look at all the evidence around them and they go, for some reason, I believe that I could do more and have more and be more. And then there's other people that are just living their best lives. There's some people that are like, hey, I'm watching everything that's happening on TV, and I'm pretty damn grateful right now. I'm extremely grateful and thankful. And that's good right now. How many people know that it's sometimes pretty cool to check in and go, wow, I'm so happy and grateful, and you just like fill in the things. And of course, when we see people, having difficulties all over the world. There was only one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. And, I'd like to know where you guys are in your imagination and where the, many miracles are coming in your life each and every day that are showing you evidence that you are spending amount of time in your imagination state. Because what the next thing I'm going to say is going to be funny, but probably for some of you, you're going like, are you making this funny about me? I'm human. So every once in a while, I do get caught up in doing things that I shouldn't do. And I recently got exposed to some really amazing imagination. I just heard that there's actually laser beams that can control the weather. Now, I already heard about the laser beams that, that can take out, but apparently there's laser beams and, that actually control the weather. And they falsified this weather over these people that are hurt right now because it's the largest place for lithium. And so, you either could buy their property from them, or you could just make a storm over top of them to wash them all out. So you can then, get lithium, because we need lithium for the batteries. Now, some people will call this, well, Robert, that's just conspiracy thinking. But if someone has that kind of imagination, apparently there's a bunch of people on this wagon. So am I the only one that's heard about the laser beams and the lithium that's in this area? Am I the only one that heard about it, or are you guys ran by it as well? Because I always hear these incredible conspiracy things, and I'm just like, I do the same thing. I go, wow, that's a pretty active imagination. But what I don't do is I don't go, well, that's bullshit. Because I need to be brutally honest with you all. If you're engaging in imagination, my job is not to say that somebody else's imagination is bullshit. Because it's just me guessing. Are you hearing me? It's just me guessing. Now, does it sound out there? Yeah, it does. Chemtrails coming from airplanes, the steel, temperature for steel, can't melt. So, the buildings for 9/11 were imploded and fell down. I know you guys know a bunch of them, right? And I'm just like going, I've said this many times, and I will continue to say it. Just be very, very intelligent or aware of whose imagination are you spending more time in. All right. So if every one of us has unique DNA, no one else is like us before, no one's going to be like us afterwards. If we're that unique, then our connection to whatever this connection is should be also unique. And so the way that you can get distracted is getting caught up in somebody else's imagination. Whether it's true or not. Are you guys following me? So that was a major question. The major question is, are all of you spending the time needed to keep your imagination activated, and activated in a way where you can see miracles of evidence of it getting closer to you? Because that's what people do, is they also have imagination, and then they try to actually steer the outcome of how it comes to them. That's always interesting, right? It's like I have this imagination of having 10,000 active traders in Akashic, and so maybe I should buy some leads. Well, I don't want to buy leads, because if I buy leads, then I got to call them, and I don't want to call anybody. I don't have any time for that. So would that be like my imagination can take me everywhere, but immediately what happens after that is my logic kicks in and destroys it? I guess there is one other thing I want to say about this. When you guys see results in the trading like Joel gets, I'm just throwing it out there, you guys. How much of it is his ability to connect with what he's doing because he loves what he's doing, and because he loves what he's doing, he's getting results from it. And then how many people do you think take his imagination and his connection to what he's doing, see his results, and bring into that your amazing logic and thinking and just really fuck it up? Have you guys ever done that before? So you see someone with their imagination and they're connected, they're tapped in, turned on, tuned in.
That's, I think.
And you watch people do some stuff sometimes, and aren't you just amazed? It's like they're in the zone. You know what I mean? You see athletes do this, or you see, people that are working in the zone. They're in their imagination, making it happen. And then you got other people that are going like, I could never do that. So they must be on steroids, or they must be doing something because they just didn't imagine it and then actually put into effort to make it happen. So comments, whatever you guys want to throw in there, because I was thinking has been a couple imaginators that I haven't been a part of. And I think a part of the imaginators is telling everybody, hey, here's my imagination, here's where it's taking me, or here's my imagination, and there's really no evidence of my imagination working at all. All right? So up to you, Craig.
All right. Well, Karen Owens finally got her hand up. So Karen, that would be awesome. And again, if you do have a question or you want to share with Robert, click the raise hand button at the bottom. If you don't see it, if you're here on Zoom, go ahead and put your cursor in the middle of the screen. On the very bottom will appear a bunch of buttons. One of them is raise hand. Click on that. We'll bring you on. If you're watching us either on Zoom or YouTube and you just want to post a comment or a question in the chats, go ahead and we'll read it on your behalf. So Karen, go ahead, unmute please, and share with us. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. You got me?
Yep.
Hi, Karen. Apparently NASCAR hasn't started yet.
Oh, no, they're on. They're actually, that's a short story. It's on right now. We were supposed to be there in our motorhome, and we decided not to go again. But that's sort of the start of my story about what Imaginators and what this group has done for me and for my husband. So a couple months ago, my husband's saying, we got to refi. Some of you know this little story. And I was sort of like on the other side of the street now. Oh, we got to do MDC. And he's going, and he's going, we got to do refi. I'm going, So finally, I just got so much of it. I just said, all right, I don't believe it's going to work, but I'll start the ball rolling. And he reaffirmed to me this weekend, too, that, well, none of this would have happened if you hadn't picked up the phone and started the process. And that was end of May. He's imagining that all these terrible bills, all the money that we have in this home could be used to pay down stuff and do all this kind of stuff. And we're in our 70s. It's time to get going here, folks.
Right.
And so long story short, I went with one group and I learned everything there was to know about this mortgage business, which I know nothing. I'm Arthur. I see you, my friend. He says, I hope you got a good deal. I said, well, I hope so too, because it's the last one I'm going to do like this.
Yeah.
And so we got through all the process, paperwork, the deals on the table. And basically the first mortgage company said, well, you got to have the contractors come in, they got to paint this, you got to do that. You follow up with this inspection. So when they call me back with all this stuff and I'm researching it, I said, you tell me you got to paint the pig before I can get some money out of the pig. And she's like,
That's good.
And so anyway, we decided not to go with them. And my husband was so disgusted and I was so upset that I said I spent the last 2.5 months working this deal, calling people, being subjected to everything, right, left, up and down on your paperwork, everything. And so Doug picks up the phone about a week later because he's disgusted because we canceled the deal with the first people. And he said, well, this VA firm handles more VA refi, so I'm going to take a deep dive. I said, you have at it. This one's on you.
Good.
And believe it or not, he imagined and he said, you just don't believe in it, Karen. You just don't believe it. I don't believe in it. And so we closed with more money, paying off all kinds of stuff, got more than we ever would have imagined because we went with a second company. We did all the paperwork again. I said, well, I just went to kindergarten on this other stuff. So we're getting a college degree on this, to include getting our motorhome paid off.
Wow.
We have-
Wow.
Now, that doesn't mean we don't owe something on this refi business, because we do. We're retired in place. So the savings of the percentage mindset's going, how much, we're compounding interest in a positive way with our platform we have with the Kashiks. And so now he's seeing all the value of getting rid of this stuff. So when I approach him again about Akashics, I can say, yeah, remember all those 28% things that we had? Now 1% a day for this or this. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank
But
you.
that's-
What I love about your story too is, Karen, you were going out there trying to find the answers to something that you really didn't want happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like bringing in a lot of resistance
Yeah.
and taking
Oh,
you
yeah, he
down
says,
the
"You're
wrong
never-"
thing. And so when you sort of threw your hands up and said, see, this is a sign, they all want this stuff. And then he steps in going with his imagination. No,
Mhm.
I think this will be good for us. And so then he gets led down the right path.
Mm-hmm. And we had so much more experience and so we could question the second people. We knew that their credentials were in line with what we were wanting to do, and they had offers, and there were scammers out there trying to talk us out of it. Everything we had to beat
sure.
that first mortgage company up with a stick, but we had so that was a good experience. And then the imagination about travel too. We've said that we're wanting to downsize and go very small if we're doing another second small RV. And we may or may not do that. We'll just see. But the other one is paid for, so now we can get our money out of it.
Very
and
good.
then- So we're talking about travel, and he says, well, I know we talked about going to Paris. Well, and yeah, France, Paris. Yep, Arthur, another connection there with your family. And we went there for our 15th wedding anniversary. And so we want to go back. And now it's, we're married like 37 years. So he said, we're watching on TV this program in Africa about luxury trains, Rovos Rail, only $50,000. Come on. Hey, if you're making money in your business, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you want to have one last feeling of going and sharing of moments in your life that means so much to you. So Doug says, now that we paid all these bills off, we can do that. We're going to go to Africa. I've always wanted to go to Africa. And by the way, figure out how you can hook us up to go to Paris on the way back. So,
Very cool. Very cool.
but his imagination's kicked in with a different way.
Right.
And I know that, and so there's nothing wrong with the fact that I haven't really started trading yet, but I am an Akashics member. I'm still with MDC forever and ever. And so it will come to pass at some point, but we hit the biggest problem that we had was this: how did we deal with the house and our situation? So imaginators can.
That was a great story, Karen. I'm really happy.
So I'm sorry I'm not going to be in Dallas, but because we have these new excitements for travels and everything else, I'm more enabled physically to do things, and walking more, this, that, and the other. Talladega is just like 4 miles here, there. A woman with a cane, and we did experience that Atlanta Motor Speedway 2 weeks ago, and I said, two old people and an old dog. I don't think we're going to take this trip this time, but we're going to preserve that RV, get it sold, and maybe get something smaller. We'll just see. But y'all are just so impactful for everything in real life. And I want to just say this is such a huge, huge win, especially realizing my hubby still does have an imagination.
It's cool, isn't it? That is so awesome. I know you guys will enjoy the trip, and I'm just believing that your health is just going to make some miraculous changes too, so you can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, everybody. I enjoy and talk to each and every one of you all the time when we check in here and there, and you're so helpful and stuff like that. But yep, it's going forward day by day. So keep on, and don't give up, anybody. Just keep on after it.
Love you, Karen. Thank you very much. Tell your husband hi for me.
Okay, well, thanks. Bye
Oh,
bye.
for us there.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
right.
much, Karen.
You too,
Great.
Terry.
How awesome. All right. And before we go on, I see Lucas has his hands up and so does Jody. So we're good. We're going to get to them in just a moment, but I got to give a shout out to Lisa Marie Cook. Thank you, Lisa Marie, for the donation in the YouTube super chat. If you want to donate to the charities that Robert supports, in particular the orphanages, go ahead on YouTube and click the $ in the little square down below the chat. And all the money that we take in from that goes to the charities that Robert supports. So, Lisa Marie, thank you so very, very much. Appreciate you. All right. Next up is Lucas. Lucas, let's see. Wait a minute. There we go. Go ahead, Lucas. Unmute and please share with us.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Lucas.
How you doing? How you doing, Terry, Robert?
Good.
Blessed and highly favored and deeply loved.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So, just not to get off on a tangent, but me and Dad had the place going up for sale.
Right?
Right.
So someone bought it. So they're our new landlord. So we're not going anywhere. So
That's good.
yeah. So we're not getting kicked out. So
That's awesome.
That's really awesome.
yeah. So that's a little side note. But no, imagination. Yeah, it's definitely elevated with me, and it's leaking out to my wife. So she saw me all the successes and downfalls with the trading, and she wanted to do it. So she joined, and she's got her 10K account. So
That is awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, my whole life I've been doing network marketing, up to Wool Ventures, and then was the last one I really did. Besides joining NBC, her belief level was like, your thing. But now she's starting to believe and say, well, if
That's
I
huge.
join, yeah, big time. And she's like, well, if I join, will this help you? I'm like, yeah, of course it would. Because our family members, they're optimistic, but they're also pessimistic about
Sure.
what we do. So I was like, if Marie, does a good, we get her into a good place, and like, oh, what are you doing? And it'll switch their mindset. So I said, this would be a good switch for you. So because
Thank you for sharing. That is awesome, man.
Yeah, it was great. I was like so excited. I was like, I get to trade with my wife now.
Yeah, when we've had quite a few wives that all of a sudden are stepping in, and believe it or not, it's women are apparently better traders than men are. They're more conservative and they're more disciplined. When guys are like, hey, all in, and it's like stupid. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
Okay, I blew another account, so it can't be for all people because I guess Jenna is female, and so she can blow out some accounts. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, speaking about blowing accounts, I blew up my last one. I'm on my new one.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So yeah, because
man.
so I rode the gold train. I was like, cool, it's gonna go up. Me and my wife are watching it, and I set some trades in. I thought it was gonna go up, and it went south, and that's what closed my account out. I was like, what? Yeah, because that week I made like $7,000. I got my account to the plus. So I was like, cool, and I got too cocky. I was falling. Okay, Joe says we go this high, but I was like, shit, what I mean? I was like, I didn't do the proper management. I just got ahead of myself, and you know what I mean. So I was like,
I love that time that Daniel said, those are just lessons. You know what I mean? We
right,
got to pay for our education
Yep.
and being good traders. And I just think it's really hilarious how we look at everything else in life and know that people have to go through that.
right,
And we're the very first, listen to this close, Lucas. We're the very first that if you've seen, your daughter trying to do something and she wasn't completing it. I mean, how much do you come down to her level and just say, no big deal, no problem. It's all right. Just do it again.
right,
You're getting
right.
better. You do all that encouragement for people except for ourselves.
Oh yeah, yep,
Isn't that
yep,
crazy? So when
yeah,
people, you'll notice, I notice all the time when we put in here where someone says, yeah, I blew my challenge. And then everyone jumps in, me too, that's okay, no big deal. But they don't say those encouraging words to themselves. They're like,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
man, you fucking idiot. You keep losing, you keep blowing it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
why I think it was pretty hilarious when Jenna said, well, I blew up 10 accounts. And I was like, wow. People are like, I guess I'm not trying hard enough.
Yeah, you don't practice what you teach.
Right. And I know that some of you that are repurchasing challenges, I had a person, my person in Poland, that he flew through his $10,000 challenge and he passed it. And so now he's purchased a $200,000 one. And I went, and he goes, yeah, and I added weekends and news and 90-10 split. And I go, what does that cost? And he goes, well, only $706 because I put in a Koshik's 50.
Hmm.
And I went,
Yeah,
I didn't know that those coupons or codes were still going. So apparently
yeah,
they
right.
are. Yeah. And you guys are like, where have you been? I know all about the codes because I'm repurchasing challenge.
Right, yeah, exactly. I like that 50% off again.
Yeah.
Well, what a win for you guys not to have to move. I hope he didn't raise your rent too much, but
I know, same. We're going the same contract until further
Awesome.
notice, so I'm happy with that.
excellent. That's good news. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for sharing, Lucas. That's
yeah,
great praise reports. Yeah,
right,
this is one of the things that when your significant other gets involved in the trading, how much do you want to encourage them to really get it?
Oh, yeah, I thought I
I was
told her. I was
telling
like, yeah,
I was telling Terry, I just want Terry to go, another $1,000 day, another
right,
$5,000 day. It's
right,
like
right.
and
Yeah, right.
yeah, Terry said that she thinks she's gonna jump in after Dubai, so we'll see. But I think she can do anything she puts her mind to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
some I tell her all the time. I think she's a better imaginator than I am.
yeah. I think I get my wife's imagination going now. Like
Yeah,
now she's like, "What do I do here? Do I take those trade?" I'm like, "Yeah, take those trade." It's like,
yeah.
I
And the way
said,
to tap that imagination in you guys is all the time. I just say to her, so once you win the challenge, and let's say for example that you're just making an extra $1,000 a month trading, what would you do with it?
get a bigger account."
Yeah, yeah. But when she says that, then the next thing to always say behind that, and how would that make you feel if you don't mind me asking? Because
Uh,
because a lot of people really don't get enough praise and recognition in their lives. And so
uh,
sometimes it would be cool to say, I just would be really proud of myself for winning the first challenge and winning the second challenge and getting funded and it's like, wow. So how are you gonna feel when this happens? And that's the
yeah,
best way to encourage someone's imagination.
yeah. I mean, it feels fantastic. You know what I mean? I was telling Dad last night. I was like, we're not being as aggressive with our trading now. I was like, we need to get in the Robert mindset. Let's get 10,000 traders. below us.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I did call people last month and I said, you know what, we have a whole new month. I'm on vacation this week, so I'm gonna pound Facebook and so yeah,
Keep posting people's wins.
right.
Just
Instead of
keep
posting my
posting
own,
people. Yeah,
I like the call you did with how I was posting their own wins. Like people don't give a shit about that. It's
they
like,
don't. They don't. And here's the other thing. Not only don't give a shit because they don't want you to win, because
yeah,
then they got to go, ah, you told me so, whatever, right?
right,
But when we post our own wins, you'll notice that the bar will always move. Always move. It's like,
yeah,
hey, I got a funded account and I made $1,000 yesterday. Well, what did you withdraw? Well, I want my account to get bigger before I withdraw. Well, let me know when you get a withdrawal. All right. Hey, I got a withdrawal. It's $1,000. How long have you been trading now with a live account? If 17 days. Well, let me know if you're still doing it a month from now. And then you go, hey, I pulled out another withdrawal for $2,000. And it's like, hey, when you get to $5,000 withdrawal, because see,
right,
we think that we have to perform to get them to make a decision. No, their excuse just changes.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
timing still's not right. So they'll never have to say, you're right.
right.
You're right. Damn it, Lucas, you're kicking my ass. You're right.
Yeah.
No, it's I gotta move the post. I gotta move the post. I gotta
Yeah.
move the post.
Yeah, doesn't matter what you do. It's okay. Let me know here. Let me know there. I'm like,
Yeah. And then when you're telling somebody else's story, why does everybody believe that when you're telling somebody else's story that person is just lucky? Oh my God,
Yeah.
if she's doing it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You don't even know who the hell they are.
Right.
Oh, other people are making money? Shit, I can make money. It's like they can't be that damn smart. It's bizarre the way we humans think. I think it's funny. Yeah, I think it's
Oh
funny. I
yeah.
think it's people doing people stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, so people like my dad. You're like, okay, dad. But then with someone else, he just told me the same thing. Like, oh, he said this. Oh, okay.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Same thing.
Well, thanks for sharing, Lucas. That was good stuff. That was really good stuff.
Good job.
Yeah, I was gonna share it on Thursday, but I didn't want to end up with ours. I was gonna share it on Thursday. I was like, I'll save it for Imaginators.
Awesome.
Good,
So,
good.
yeah. So,
Awesome.
Thank you. Proud of you. Let's give it up for Lucas. Yay!
Yeah.
Give it up for Karen. Give it up for Lucas. Keep the
you
ball
guys.
rolling here.
Thanks so much, Lucas. Yeah, it's awesome. Congratulations. And glad to hear that both you and your dad are going to be staying. I'm sure that makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Well,
All right.
David showed up and didn't know I was talking about him at the beginning. Hi, David.
His ears must have been burning.
Yeah, so maybe a bunch of people reached out to him. Hey, Robert's like throwing your name out there.
David, I think you need to watch the opening to this on the replay.
Yeah, David, I was just saying that when we're engaged in our imagination with the master imaginator, we shouldn't be asking other people what we should be saying to people that God put in our path. Maybe you should ask God what you should say to the people that got put in your path. Just a thought, they're unique creatures. They got their own DNA. They were created. Why not just talk to the master creator and say, hey, what should I say to this person? What should I say to this person? What should I say to this person? And then you immediately get a thought, well, why don't I glance at some of the other TikTok videos they do? Maybe I should see if they got a website. Maybe their other social media will show me what's most important to them. Or maybe we could just be this simple. David, I just want you to know that I'm a believer and I'm really locked into imagination on how to help people. And then out of nowhere, I noticed that you were sharing or actually had the same video that I was sharing. Do you mind me asking what part of your imagination made you do that?
Yeah, it's conversation.
Yeah, it's, I'd rather not know what to say to somebody, and through asking questions and giving them sincere compliments, that it leads me into that connecting with them immediately than usually using something that I asked somebody else about when they don't know that person or they're not connected to that person.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So every time you go, whoa, I wonder what to say to this person. Ask the creator what to say to that person.
Hmm.
You like that?
I love it.
Yeah, I knew
I
you
think
would.
it would be, I don't know why, but here the last couple, maybe a week, I lost five challenges, right?
I did not.
Yeah, 5 challenges I lost. I didn't lose, actually. I didn't lose. I guess the hardest thing when you lose a challenge is all the emotions that go through you.
Yes.
And I learned a lot about myself.
Yes.
So,
You know what
so it was,
David, you know what they used to say? Probably some people still do, but being an entrepreneur is, and so a lot of people say network marketing, right? It's a personal development program with a compensation plan.
mm,
See, I'm not
mm,
being mean here, but a lot of people that just get jobs just love being told what to do. And then once they get told what to do, they really don't have any imagination to make them go the extra mile.
right.
So then they're constantly complaining with what they're doing and they don't like their job, but they don't like being told what to do, blah, 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 blah. So when someone does something outside of a job,
Mm,
then you get to meet you.
right. Right. I don't want a job and I don't want to be told what to do.
Right. And so in this deal of learning to be an entrepreneur, you really get to find out not only what your imagination is and what drives you, but also how to be there for other people.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And that's when I started realizing that man, I better trust my ability and the guidance that I have, that I believe that I have, that I can say the right things to the right people.
mm,
Because if I try to do that with logic, I'm not good at it. I'm not
I
good
get
at
it. Yeah.
logic, but I'm good at going, what should be said here, and waiting for the utterance, waiting for the prompt,
Mm,
waiting for really honestly, listening to a voice that I know that's not mine.
I get it. Yeah.
Good. I knew
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten out a couple of trades just in time. Like I got out. I felt so impressed. I was like, why am I feeling like I need to get out of this trade? And I get out of the trade and then the whole thing just drops.
Wow.
Like people lost a lot of money this past week. Joel made a couple calls and, I think I was up 700-800. And I was getting just a strong impression, get out. And I listened to it because I listened to it before and I got out and immediately that went straight down like probably
Wow.
$8. That's a lot of money on gold. It just dropped down to the bottom. And so I really appreciate you bringing this out because that is the secret to success.
It's the only secret.
Right.
To me, it's the only secret. I said there's only 2 groups of people that are constantly out there, right? And there's one mentality where they're not okay with status quo in any area of their life.
Mm,
And then there's people that are okay with status quo.
right.
And so
Yeah.
I always tell people I think that if you're alive, there should be this constant utterance of, man, I could do better. Whether it's
Sure.
you doing better for somebody else, maybe a family member, or maybe, dedicating your time to helping people or doing whatever. turn that into a ministry or whatever. But, I just, the people that are just okay with status quo are usually not very happy people. Because, it just hit me. I just got a download. Why people that are status quo people are not very happy is because they're also imagining. They're imagining doing less for more money. Their imagination is always like, I need to strike and get a raise.
Well, you can use your imagination for the negative or positive. And both ways, you will get what you Jesus made a statement, you knock and it will be open unto you. You seek and you will find.
Yeah.
It goes both ways until a person decides, you know what, I'm just going to look for the good.
Yeah.
Until you make that decision, your awareness isn't going to be at a place where you start seeing the good.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I remember when I was younger listening to someone, you can control your circumstances. And I'd be like, no, that's not true. But as I've gotten older, I know what that means. It means how you react to things. You can control how you react to things. And then when I realized that, I was like, wow. So it takes faith. It takes faith in a higher power that's overlooking and has your good in mind. It takes faith to rest in that. It takes faith.
Yeah.
And that's when you exercise faith and you realize there's someone out there. I believe his name is Father, but he is constantly blessing us. But if we are never in tune with him constantly, like the Bible says, all things work together for good to them that love the Lord, And so when bad things happen, it takes faith to see through it all and say, no, it was good for good. So when I lost 5 challenges, I constantly kept thinking, no, this is going to be good. I'm going to get this.
Oh my God.
I needed the discipline. People say, oh no, you were out of discipline. No, I needed the discipline of staying with it no matter what experiences I was having. And now I get it. I get what Joel is saying, because it hurt to not listen to it. You know what I mean? so I'm very well disciplined in the sense that if it goes to TP1 and that was my plan, I get out. No matter if I think it's going to go up to TP5. You know what I mean?
I do.
But you learn to have faith. And I think I've talked to other people that have joined, under me. And I think the emotional roller coaster is the hardest thing that in trading you have to, you can't get that from a video. You can't get it from.
No. You only learn this stuff by doing. You only learn, I'm 62 years old, and because I make it a part of my life to get connected, to get grounded, to really, really, do my gratefulness and my prayers. And I do them on my knees, and I'm disciplined, and I do it. And I'm 62 years old, and all of a sudden a thought came to me, because sometimes we just randomly say prayers because it's just like, this is the prayer, like the Lord's Prayer, right? And and it was like a week ago. I didn't tell Terry this, and it's like it was the first time that I ever said to myself that I wanted forgiveness for not doing the things that I know to do. See, most people ask forgiveness because I did bad things. I like forgiveness because I did some bad things or had some bad thoughts. And all of a sudden, I'm in my life now where I'm like, no, I need forgiveness for not being disciplined and not doing what I know I should be doing. It's like, because it's easier not to. That's Jim Rohn's favorite saying, right? Everything's easy to do, but it's so easy not to do it, And it's like,
but I think that most people, and I'm a religious person in the sense of I believe in God, and I believe that he has our good intention in mind all the time. It's never like he's waiting out there to see where you can screw up so he can. I have a long time ago discarded that idea, which is something that religion uses to control people.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
And so I totally reject religion, you know.
Right.
But understanding who you are, like,
Yeah.
I think that what you brought out, and I think it's in your book too, where you realized you're a miracle, you're special. That feeling and that experience, every person, I cannot make that experience for you.
No. I'll give you one that's super deep. I did something for a family, and it wasn't a big thing to me. It really wasn't. And when I seen these people at a convention, they pulled me aside, and both of them were in tears. And they were like, they said, "We want to tell you the little miracle that happened in our life by you being there." And my husband has too much pride, and he won't ask for people to help. So he was praying for an angel to help us. And then you came out of nowhere and helped us. And my husband now believes, and he's standing there, and he goes, my husband now understands that the universe and God uses people to be angels for others.
Yeah, that's true.
And I went, that's humbling when you're disciplined, you're listening, you do things that you're prompted to do, and then somebody is bold enough to call you an angel or a warrior for God. And you're like, that doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Immediately it puts me in a place where I'm going, I don't know if I'm okay. I'm okay being a helper. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't look at myself as a warrior or an angel.
Yeah. Well, in answering the prayer, my wife, she'll tell stories of things, and I will too, of answered prayers. And one customer was telling my wife, I never get my prayers answered. And my wife, she and I were talking about that because I've had so many answered prayers.
Yeah.
Incredible things that you think, if I tell people, they don't believe it. You know what I mean? But the secret to an answered prayer is you ask and then forget you asked. Just drop it in the box and forget about it. Don't look for it. Don't ask again. Don't dig it up again. If you're reminded of it, just dismiss it. Think about something else. Distract your mind away from it. It's when you forget your request that he answers. And people have a hard time with that. Because people praying constantly for the same thing over and over and over again. And see, that puts them, you put yourself in a place of want instead of a place of abundance. And so it's not that he won't answer it. It's that if he does, you never recognize it because you're always looking for the want. And that's, they say you drop a seed in the soil, you don't want to dig it up again.
No.
It has to rot. Jesus said, when you pray, you have to believe you receive before you even see evidence of it. And I think in trading, I've been doing that. And I think maybe that's been my shift. When I enter a trade, I ask for the blessing, and then I follow the plan that I've outlined for that trade.
Yeah.
Right?
There it is. There it
That,
is.
and then I follow that rule, and then, you know, I think I lost. So I'm at 78% win rate on my $25,000 challenge account, which I've only had a couple of days because of the storm and everything. I couldn't do anything. But there's a lot of hurt around here, and I've been trying to reach out to people because some of these people here a lot of people depend on FEMA. They're going to give people $750. You can get unemployment. So a lot of people are doing that. But there's a lot of people here that are really hurting. They have nothing. Everything got washed away. They didn't have flood insurance.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But answered prayer, that's what takes discipline. It takes discipline to ask and then believe you receive and then forget about it.
Yeah. Just put it in the thought and then go on with your life.
It's like dropping something in a box. And once it's in there, because I remember my wife one time, she prayed for a couch or something. And people like, because we prayed, I mean, we were younger, we didn't have any money, so we would have to pray for our furniture. And then I would be at a job and someone wanted to give away a couch. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it home. I'll see what I can do with it. And for sure, it was what my wife was asking for. So when I got home and I told my wife, she said, oh, I just prayed that last week.
That's
like,
funny.
what?
That's
so, but it's the little things. And I don't think people understand that there's that power up there is interested in making your life enjoyable.
Right.
And happy. You know what I mean? People think, no, he must be punishing me for something. No, don't believe that.
That's
He's
religion. I run into people that they're constantly saying, I'm in spiritual warfare. And I'm like, so you didn't read the last chapter. You know, it's like it's already been won. It's we can live heaven on earth. We're not in a war.
Right.
And it's like,
yeah, well,
if you really believe that you're in a war, I can guarantee you're losing.
Well, people ask, I've asked, well, I would say, well, what is God's will in this situation? They're like, well, we're not sure what God's will. Well, Jesus said, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Right.
So what is God's will? Well, in this situation, whatever it may be, whatever would be in heaven, it's what needs to be here on earth. And that most Christians never get that because they don't understand when Christ lived in his whole life, you don't see him stressed out. You don't see him in need of anything. He must have been a funny guy
but you did see him a lot of time just step out of a conversation with a bunch of guys and go, I'll be back. I'm going to go pray. Yeah. It's right. How many times have you seen people break away from a conversation and going, hey, I just got prompted. I got to go connect. Well, David, man, I really appreciate you sharing.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thank you, Robert. I appreciate you too.
Good stuff.
And,
good stuff.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate you too.
David, thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing that.
You bet.
All right. We got two hands up. Let's see. Kai Au, you're coming up. But first, Jody Falcon. Jody, go ahead. Unmute and please share with us.
Hi, Dex. Hi, Leo. Oh, hi, Terry. Hi, Robert.
Oh, we know whose priority is there.
They're over there in a pile.
So I know you guys watch CBS Sunday Morning.
We didn't.
Talk
morning. I watched because Jelly Roll was on another channel, so I wanted to watch him, and then we went for our walk. So we haven't watched it yet today.
Oh my God. Whoa. The creativity, the dreamscape of two stories that stood out. The first, I won't tell you the end of the segments, okay? The first was a young man severe autism. Everybody thought he couldn't communicate, but then a teacher introduced him to an augmentative assistive device, like a tablet, if you will, and he could type.
I've seen it. I've seen this
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's the only thing that I wish that, when they get newer ones, we get to see them all new, but they're really good at taking segments that were before. But I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this young man with severe autism, he starts typing his dream and what he's imagining.
Wow.
Those are his words. I won't say anymore. And then there was the same kind of segment with Pharrell Williams. Okay. And
because I'm happy.
Yes, if you're happy. Yeah. He also was diagnosed with some handicapping conditions. But the segment with the young man with autism, I have to share a personal experience. I had such a vivid, powerful flashback. This goes back many decades. I was teaching at a local high school, and I had this most beautiful young girl from Haiti. Her parents could not afford all three of them to come to Florida to stay. They had a relative here, so they would be allowed to come. So they put their money together, and they chose to send their daughter Sabine over to Florida, Palm Beach County in particular, because she had spina bifida, very extreme, wheelchair bound. So I'm helping her fill out her class schedule of electives, and she wants to take dance class. Okay, well, you're in a wheelchair, but that's all right. Let's dance, right?
Yeah.
So dance teacher, actually was the ballet teacher. Of course, let's see what we can do, blah, blah, blah. A couple weeks later, Sabine says to me in class, she says, Miss, I have a dream that I'm dancing on stage in the talent show. Can you help me do that? Now, in between this time, Sabine learned that I was a former ballet dancer, and the dance teacher at school and I are good friends, and la, la, la. Okay. So just like with the young man with autism, his dad's friend helps him complete his vision. So now it's time for the talent show, right? Sabine brought the house down.
Oh, that is so cool.
Her imagination for years, and she told everybody after she got the standing ovation, her imagination for years was to be a sugar plum fairy and dance Tchaikovsky's music to the Sugar Plum Fairy. The home ec teacher made her a Sugar Plum Fairy costume. So to be the conduit to help someone, like, actually, oh my God, it was just really beautiful. But if anybody has not watched
being an agent of what somebody else is.
Oh, an agent. Okay. And David, oh my God, I love your visual you gave me of say the prayer, put it in a box.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
I love you too. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Luna. Okay.
Lisa or Jody, thank you so much. Appreciate that. What a great share. Yeah. This is what I love about Imaginators, is watching people's imagination grow and be shared, and how amazing it is that each one of us has our own individual imagination about things.
Yes. It's why we do everything.
Exactly. Absolutely, positively. All right. Kai, your hand is up. So let's go ahead and go over to you. Kai Ao, open up and please share with us.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes. How you doing, Kai?
Highly blessed and favored and deeply loved, and can't wait to finally pass phase 1 and cash in this week.
Nice. Nice.
And it's really interesting that Dave shared his information because, I mean, obviously we all went through a bloody roller coaster this whole week, especially on Friday. That was fun.
Now, when you say everybody, are you sure that everybody participated in that roller coaster?
Oh, I'm only speaking to those who participated in the roller coaster.
Well, just say a few people.
Yeah.
Arthur said he made 5,500 on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, first thing when I woke up at those 2 taps, I was like, woohoo, I'm back in profit again.
There you go.
Then
There you
come
go.
noon, it's like, what in bloody hell is going on? It's like, woo. I'm like, all right. And I like David, I should have trusted my gut feelings to like just stop close, just stop close. But for some weird reason, like, you know what? Let's see what happens. And obviously it closed, and it was just like, oh crap, I'm short 800 now. But luckily, I was like, all right, let's just breathe. I'm sure something is close. I mean, it will happen because it's not even 2 o'clock yet. And Joel placed those 2 trades, and both went positive, and I'm back up 200. I mean,
Awesome.
I still got $600 left to break back even. I'm not in the negative at all by any means. So I guess one of the reasons was like, you know, I'm in a positive. I'm not freaking out. I'm still in phase 1. And it's just like, let's just see what happens. Obviously, in my back of my mind, I was like, all right, I learned my lesson. I should have trusted my gut feelings and just close when I saw it hit negative 300. But it's just like, oh, okay. It's like that 50-50 hindsight. It's like, yeah, let's see what happens.
I still don't get, while you're learning, or let me say it different. When you kick in your imagination and you're very aware that your journey toward your imagination is in action, that we keep allowing the little obstacles on the way to our imagination to really stop us in our tracks.
It's a little Dino in our heads.
Yeah, it is so, it's so human to realize that, wow, if I look at my whole journey, did I spend more time thinking about the negative part of the journey or the positive part of the journey? Because when we have wins, and we do have wins, it seems like we spend seconds. There's like no gratefulness or anything. It's like, wow, look at, I made 2,000. I wonder if I can make 3. See what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, wow, I was in the green for 2 days. I wonder if I can be in the green for 7. It's like as soon as we win, we immediately discard it and raise the bar. And that comes from, you know, when it talks about in Science of Getting Rich, which we haven't talked about in a long time, but be very, very aware, Kaya, the competitive side of your nature. Because in weightlifting or in any kind of competition that you've been in the past with bodybuilding, it's like, I'll bust my ass. I took 3rd place. Maybe next time I bust my ass and I take 2nd or 1st. There's like hardly no celebration at all. You know, I just lifted 350 pounds. I need to hit 370. It's like so, but yet when we turn around and have that same thing, okay, I'm going to attempt 350, and then you do it, you try to do it, and you can't. We spend a little more time beating us up. It's like, well, the reason I didn't do 350 is because I had a couple of cheat days. I wasn't strict on my diet. You know, I beat myself up because my mindset, maybe I wasn't positive and visualized me doing it. You know what I mean? It's like we really take a lot of thought and time on beating ourselves up for the losses and spend less time on our wins.
Exactly. And that was why I was like, with the whole day Friday, I was like, you know, if I lose, I lose. No big deal. And then all of a sudden, 2 trades went up. It's like, sweet. I
So
was just like,
I
oh,
the
no,
reason I brought
thank
this
you,
up,
universe.
yeah, the reason I brought this up, Kai, too, is just say, hey, listen, maybe I should pat myself on my back, and I'm really good at doing that for myself. When you look what I've been blessed to create, because I caught like 4 or 5 good trades in a row. So I still have a 4-minute video that people watch 2 minutes of, that's bringing in hundreds, if not thousands of people into Akashics, because everyone's using that video, because I was able to capture a win. Hey, I can't believe this, man. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I push this button and look it. Now my account is 50,000 something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really
And it's like,
interesting.
because I was willing to make a big deal out of my win. It caused a movement. It caused momentum. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, I totally agree. And it's really interesting that you brought up my former bodybuilding career, was because whether I mean, obviously you've seen the trophies that I've had. It's like, whether it was like 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 4th, 5th place, I always celebrated. At that time, I was like, woohoo, I got it. And everybody's like, what are you so happy about? You didn't win 1st place. And I'm like, I don't care. I got a trophy. I'm out of here. I'm celebrating.
That you please apply that to your trading.
And that was actually kind of what I applied in my brain Friday after I saw the loss. It's like, you know what? I'm still in the positive. I'm still good. I'm still at phase 1. Next week will be a better week. It's all
well,
good.
you started out by, when you came on here, is I'm just really happy and grateful that I'm past the challenge and I'm funded.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not if I'm going to get funded. It's not if I'm going to get withdrawals. See, that's faith. That's what David was talking about.
Absolutely.
Man, when you see me go off, when I take off my first withdrawal, and I know people even beat themselves up with that. Why wouldn't you see, I've seen some people that they got $100 or $200 in a withdrawal. Oh my God, I'd celebrate that that's huge, because the majority, I always pat myself on the back, because I always think, wow, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Out of 8 billion people, how many people are focused on winning a challenge and getting into funding? Now you start putting a point with a bunch of zeros behind it. And I've done that with you, Kai, even with this industry, right? I always say to people, I say, wow. So I remember saying this to you, Kai, when we first met. And I said, so I have a couple of questions for you. And you said, sure. And I go, have you ever gotten a check from MDC? Oh, yeah, I've gotten multiple checks from MDC. Have you ever achieved a rank? Yeah, a number of ranks. And then I said to you, so you're in the 0.001% of everybody that ever tried network marketing. And I remember you going, really? See, everybody does that. It goes like, what, really?
And that was our first FaceTime ever. When you said that. I remember it well, because my jaw was like, huh?
And it's not that everybody else is that bad. It's just that the majority of people don't believe in themselves to create imagination in their mind of actually receiving any kind of income from any kind of company. You know what I mean? And so when you can start saying, wow, it's the income disclosure statement says what percent of people actually are active in receiving a check, but virtually millions of people have enrolled in this company and done nothing. It's like, so do you think trading's the same way?
More or less, yes.
It's all in the mindset. Life's that way. How many people had a small imagination of wanting to be a bodybuilder, but never competed?
That's the question.
Isn't that crazy? but it's the reverse psychology we have to do on ourselves so we can pat ourselves on the back.
Absolutely. I mean, the gym that I'm in right now is like, you see so many younger bodybuilders doing nothing but just posting videos with their tripods on Instagram. And I keep thinking to myself, are you even monetizing with Instagram? What's going on here? And they're like, oh, I'm just trying to get more likes and more people on it. I'm like, okay, so you're not monetizing. So what are you doing? And I asked them, it's like, how are you?
Well, if I keep putting
visualizing-
videos up, eventually I'll get monetized.
Yeah. But the thing for them was that they're not aligned with the idea of getting monetized.
No.
And I asked some of them, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to make sure I get a lot of likes from all the girls." And I'm like, okay, you go."
Yeah, I just, when I hear people say stuff, I just know that everybody's on their own journey.
Yes.
So there were times, there was a guy one time that said to me, he said, wow, you went out of your way to put a Corvette motor in a Vega. And he goes, I wouldn't even imagine that. And then as soon as he said, why did I do it? He said, I bet you that car gets girls. And I went, girls distract me from building the car.
No kidding. That's the same mindset. That's the same idea I had.
What are you talking about? I built it to beat other people that are driving around thinking that their Mustang is good or their Nova is good or
I mean, that's the same quote unquote accusations people gave me when I was building super bikes.
Yeah.
And people, it's like, okay, at that time, my motorcycle was a Ducati 1098, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're just trying to get attention." And I'm like, "Actually, I'm a racer.
Yeah,
I don't have time to make people get attention."
Right.
So that is a perfect segue to just always realize, why am I doing this? So if each one of your baby steps on your way to a journey is being a full-time trader that can not have to worry about money, can show other people, can purchase a house that you want. It's like the steps need to happen, and you need to stay in a positive mentality to make it happen.
Yeah, and that was actually what kept me from going down that crazy spiral. And you know that situation, right? What do I do? I'm about to lose. I might lose
Right.
my account. I might shut down. Like, wait a minute. Wake up.
Yeah, it's like now it's like all of a sudden when people have losses, it's like you don't even know that they had losses.
Right.
You guys notice that in the chats? There's people that really feel like they got to tell you how bad they're doing. And it's like, I'm just going, like, someone asked me the other day, do you ever go to the Akashics community? And I'm like, no.
I'm not even going to go there with all the stuff
I do
that
not.
flies around in that chat room.
But before Akashics, I was involved in other groups of people that did nothing but whine and complain about the changing in ingredients and that this is not working anymore. And I'm going like, but there again, there's not too many people that it was talking about the product and how incredible it did for them. So it just be aware that we sometimes become who we hang around, and most of the world is constantly complaining about everything. And they're constantly upset about everything. And it's like,
I got to the point where I had that specific group chat muted indefinitely.
Yeah. Good. Well, thanks for sharing, Kai, man. I love
No problem. Awesome. Thank you very much. And just a little quick report. I was talking with Becky last night, and she's been spying on me, and now we talked till like 3:00 in the morning. She was well, she's in Kansas City. Well, she's now like, how much does it cost to get into Akashics? I'm like, here's the video.
Yeah.
So, well, she grew up from a family where she is aware and knows about trading, but not our type of trading.
Yeah.
Hers is public trading, which is a totally different beast. I've done that before. It's not fun.
No.
And what I explained to her very quickly, what we do is social trading. All we do is click and tap, copycat, and just go about on our day.
Yep.
Win or lose, it doesn't bloody matter.
Yeah.
I hope she makes the decision. That would be great.
She's in between a lot of stuff, but something tells me that she's going to get it.
Awesome.
Good. Well, thank you, Kai. I love you, man.
Appreciate you. Back to you.
Yep.
Kai, thank you so much. I think we'll go ahead and take one more for this Sunday. And
Okay.
how about we go back to Special K, Kamel Brown. Kamel, go ahead, open up, and please share with us.
Can you hear me?
Sure can. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. I just wanted to add in just a little short story why I kind of went away from gold. I've been trading for a minute. Because I see a lot of people, even in my group, they complain about $20, $30. So I always tell them the gold story. I was in 2 gold trades on a funded account I had, 200K funded account. Put the trades in. One trade was up, I believe it was like 8,000. I had another trade that was up, I think it was 12. It was 12,000.
Wow.
20 grand.
Imagine holding on and say, oh, no, it's going to go up. It's going to go up. Then you turn around and look and you're in the red.
Ooh,
And you lose the account.
Damn.
just vomited in my mouth. No, I'm just kidding.
So you gotta like just telling everybody, just put it kind of in perspective. And what I've learned over the years is the trading plan is everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trading plan is everything. Even if it keeps going and you see it keep going, don't feel no type of way about it.
Yeah.
Just a matter of
it's
whatever you're gonna get out.
Yeah, it is really, really bizarre that, again, personal development is you really, really doing things that you haven't done before.
Mhm.
And I did another training with Joel with my Hungarian and Romanian team. They had like 100 people on there, right?
Mhm.
And I keep picking stuff up. And it's this whole compass. I remember one time listening to this guy. I was really into Texas Hold'em for a while. Me and the family would watch it, and watch these guys compete against each other.
Just watched everybody else.
Yeah. And it was always funny because our youngest Kyle, right?
Mhm.
It's like he starts playing games with us and then he totally is just not interested anymore. He doesn't have any competitive bone in his body, right? And so he's one of these guys that he'll just throw over his cards and you can see that he has nothing. And then he wants to get out of the game, so he goes all in. And then the cards that flip over fill his straight and he takes everyone's money.
Oh wow.
Because he didn't care.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He wasn't that emotional into it. You know what I mean? And it's like, call that beginner's luck or whatever. But every outcome for them is okay.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not like, I'm a loser or I'm Superman. They don't go on both sides of the ego, So when you win, I always tell this all the time. This was one thing I brought up on all these things when we went to Europe. I go, don't you think it's hilarious when people win? The reason they won was them.
Yep.
And when they lose, I'm not following that asshole anymore. That guy. So when they win, they're like smart, and I'm a wizard, and I got these special powers. And when you lose, it's like I ain't following that guy's tap to trades anymore.
Mhm.
So we blame our losses on the system and tap and trade, and my phone's not giving the right signals to Trade Locker, and it's like all this stuff. But when you won, it wasn't, wow, I guess Akashic is directly hooked to Trade Locker and it did it at the right time with the right. No, it's me. It's me. I'm the one that made that damn trade happen. So, Camille, thank you for sharing that. It's like, so I when I did that one training with Joel recently, I heard him say, and I was going, how disciplined do you got to be on this? He's going, so he goes, the only people that are losing money are the people that are not following my plan.
Correct.
And he says, so if you don't know what my plan is, and he said, so when you go into a trade and you see it up by $150, you're out. You're done for the day. And my first thought was, wow, 98% of the people just said no frickin' way.
Yep.
not a small percent is like, hey, it went up $5, now it's up 10, now it's up 40, 50, now it's 150, and you see it green, it's like, sell. No, I'm not. And then Joel, that asshole, he lost me money. It's like, it went. And I'm going like, so that's the way he was telling these people to how to win the challenge, is that, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but a lot of little 150 wins.
Yeah, add up, man.
And you're trying to get to 1,000 if you added 10,000, but we're working on, percentages. And so when you see people follow and win the challenge and then get funded, and you go, wow, it's like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you said something interesting earlier about when people, it's almost like following the plan where you think you're following the plan.
Oh, those are the best people. You're a chef. You're a chef, and oh man, he's an awesome chef. He's an awesome chef. And how many times in your life have you had people go, here it is, and then you taste it and you go, no, it's not.
Yep.
And then what is their next phrase? Listen, I did exactly what you told me to do. Yep. And it's like, if you did, it wouldn't taste like this.
100%.
And, someone that's done it as much as you even know where they messed up.
Yeah.
When I watch people that are really incredible chefs and they're doing things at certain temperatures for a certain amount of time, and I'm going like, this is a lot more complicated than people think it is. You know what I mean? It's like the funny joke for Terry and I one time is we went to Florida and we went to some place where these guys what was the name of the resort? I don't remember what it was called. But
Club Med.
Club Med, yeah.
It was horrible by the
way.
Yeah,
and they made this bread with white chocolate in it.
Oh,
she gave me the recipe. It's amazing.
But if you looked at Club Med, white chocolate bread, you'd find the recipe, right? So then I come home and me and the family are going to make this from scratch.
He made bread in prison, so I figured he knew what the hell he was doing. I never made bread before.
And I'm going like, I'm missing some steps. Like the dough wasn't rising, it wasn't doing what it was supposed to, and then I even seen how they separate the water and the egg from the mix as they slowly pull it in. That takes practice. That takes some awareness. You know what I mean? I was like going, well, we didn't figure out how to do that. So, wow. Jody said Club Med in Florida was forced to close down.
It should. It was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. The bread was amazing.
Yeah, the resort. Greg, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, I went with you on that trip, and that was it was a fun experience. And I remember when you were starting to talk about that, it's like, oh yeah, that white bread was just
so yummy.
You could just OD on that and go through the entire rest of the resort or the rest of that weekend that we had and just say, okay, I'm good.
Did you want to say anything else, Kamal?
Just encourage everybody, because I'm learning, as you go through a lot of the things, like even with my career, how I guess focused and like disciplined you got to be. Yeah. So I have my own style, like a lot of people have. I remember taking some trading courses where they didn't talk about nothing but mindset.
Mm.
Oh, I got one girl that's in
Okay.
Australia. Her name is Julia,
Uh,
and she's a professional trader. She said, the only way that I support myself is trading, and I've done that for 14 years.
mhm,
And you know, she just never has traded gold.
mhm,
And so she decided to bring in some students and do what she's done in the past and teach them how to win the challenge.
mhm.
And yeah, not going as good as she thought it was going to go. And so people are not seeing enough wins. So now they're not paying their next monthly dues on their Akashic membership. And I'm going like, oh, there's a lot of little outside, you know, just because you can win doesn't mean that you have the ability to teach brand new people how to win.
Right, right,
And so
right.
I don't want to tell them anything. I keep telling people I don't know Vietnamese and I don't know Tradenese.
Mhm.
And if you can't go in there and just do the baby steps to get some wins that get you to imagine, that gets you to go into more action, that gets you to, you know, to do stuff where all of a sudden it's like, I haven't played a lot of golf, but I'm sure a lot of things in life are this way. But that's why the people that love golf love golf.
Yeah.
Because
Challenge.
you think you got it, and now you're in front of a bunch of people betting money, and then you shank it, or you you do something where it's like, damn, that hurt. I just thought I was a good golfer, but yeah, just a couple of degrees off, and it sure makes a change in the trajectory of the ball. It really, really does. So, thank you for sharing. I can't wait to see you personally. Terry and I are probably headed out at the beginning of the year to go visit the kids out in Cali. So we'll have to break.
Okay, yeah. Definitely, definitely.
You bet.
All right.
All right. God bless.
God bless you.
Kamel, thank you so very much. And again, great to see you, my friend. Been a while. All right. I think that will do it for the day. I don't think we have any, but no other hands are up. It is Sunday, and let's go ahead and
Karen and I got something taping we got to get to.
Okay. So then why don't we go ahead and wrap this baby up? Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us today. Don't forget, there was a few things that are in the chat, and especially, I know that Erlene in the YouTube chat was talking about this. Some of the things that Joel was sharing that was Spanish only. I posted the link to Joel's specific videos on the session replays that he has shared with us. Matt Hollis did a lot of great things where he took out the Spanish and it's only in English. So the link is in both the chats. If you don't find it in the YouTube chat, it'll be in the post description below when we conclude. But if you are monitoring the chat here on Zoom, go ahead and click the three dots in the meeting chat that's next to Imaginators. Click on Save Chat, and it will download when we conclude this session. Big shout outs. God, what a great contributing group today. We had Kamel Brown, Special K, KC, Karen Owens, Lucas Shoemaker, David Oliver, Jody Falcon, Kai Au. Thank you all for joining us. Matt Hollis, bless you, and thank you so much for being our foundation, our executive producer for all of these amazing sessions. And thank each and every one of you for being here and joining us and sharing this with ears that hear to the people that are out there. We love and we appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next time. So until then, please be good to yourselves, be cash, and bye for now. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up so we can all say so long for now.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So much.
So nice talking
Peter,
to
Stuart,
everybody.
hey Daniel, Peter and Linda,
Bye.
Peter and Linda, Melody, Lucas,
Really
Kai,
great to see everybody.
Jerome, man,
Sunday.
wearing a Vikings out, man, he definitely knows how to
Yay, Jerome.
Mark it open
Hey.
in an hour.
You
Good
need to
old
talk
LA
to
Rams. How
Mike.
about that?
Hey, I got you. I'm with you, Lucas. Rams all the way.
There you go. Hi, Arthur. Hey,
NASCAR.
Chris, Mike, Karen, Craig, Kamal. See you
All
guys.
right.
Love you
Bye,
guys.
guys.